Because when you contend, that means in order to contend, you got to let go of self. Everybody can't contend for the faith. Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, you got to be a person that can contend for the faith. Say, neighbor, you got to be a person that'll be willing to put forth every effort by any means necessary to fight for the faith. Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, this is the season, this is the time when we as the church have to come into a new revelation. This is the time in the church where the standard must be raised. It's time out for playing games. Do me a favor. Look at your neighbor and say, oh neighbor, it's time out for playing games. We've been loosey-goosey in the church long enough. We've had it our way long enough. I came to tell you on this morning, I came to challenge you on this morning. I came to let you know on this morning that if the church is going to be the church, then it's time for us to stand for something. Do me a favor. Look at a neighbor and say, neighbor, I am a member of the church, and because I'm a member of the church, I realize that it's on me to contend for the faith. The writer said, with everything on the inside, I gotta learn how to fight for the faith. I have to learn if we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. The church is gone. It's gone wild. We've lost our identity. We've lost our purpose. We've lost our realness. We've lost our power. I stopped by to tell you that now is the time for the church to be the church. Do me a favor. Let the bishop preach. Stand on your feet and look at your neighbor eyeball to eyeball and say, neighbor, it's time out for playing games. Recess is over and it's time for the church to get itself together. We've been making excuses. We've taken grace and wore it out. We've become anything goes kind of church. We've become do anything kind of church. And because of that reality, we've lost our respect. But it's time now to get it back. We're suffering from amnesia. We're suffering from dementia. We're suffering from Alzheimer's. But today, God sent me on assignment to remind the church of who you are. You have a duty and a responsibility to guard and cherish the faith, and it can't be done with a mindset when we stand for who we like. It's time out from playing games. The Bible says, come out from among them and be separate. The Bible says, love not the world or anything in the world. Because if you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you. I stopped by to tell you that the church has gone wild. I stopped by to tell you that the church has lost its mind. I stopped by to tell you it's time to get it together. Tell your neighbor, say neighbor, look at your neighbor. Eyeball to eyeball. Say neighbor, now is the time for the church to be the church. Now's the time to bring back the standard. He said, be holy, cause I am unholy. It's time to come out from among them. It's time to come out from the clubs. It's time to come out and be holy. Tell your neighbor, say neighbor, it's time to get it together. Say neighbor, we got to fight on the inside, cause the church is in the fight of this life. But even in the midst of the fight of our life, I stop by to tell you that no weapon that's formed against the church shall prosper. I stop by to tell you that with man it's impossible, but with God all things are possible. But it's time for the church to get it together. Touch your neighbor and say, get it together. You know it's time to get it together. You played long enough. You've been in the streets long enough. You had sex long enough. You smoked weed long enough. You've been in the club long enough. Now it's time to contend for the faith. Well, what am I contending for? I'm contending for what he did on the cross. He died for my sins. That's a reason you must contend. He gave up his life so you don't have to die and go to hell. And because he did it, I owe him my fight. Tell your neighbor, say neighbor, you owe him your fight. Say neighbor, nobody told you it would be easy. Nobody told you it would be popular. Nobody told you it would be convenient. But it's time to fight for it. He saved you, so fight for it. He delivered you, so fight for it. He brought you out, so fight for it. He healed you, so fight for it. It's time to contend for the faith. Give people a high five, say contend for it, contend for it.